What is up, everybody? Happy Friday, your favorite day of the week. Not because it's the end of the work week, no, because you get to come, where, Gabby?
Watch Charlotte FC for the week.
There we are, Charlotte FC for the week. We got Gabby back for the first time in a couple weeks. Appreciate you joining us. Obviously, love Brian and Amy filling in there for a bit. They will be on again, shortly. Don't want you to think they're gone neither, but just kind of a rotating schedule, if you will. But you guys don't care about that. You care about me and the show. No, I'm just kidding. You do care about the show, though. You care about the recap. That's what we're here for. Obviously, recapping. It's been a bit now, right? We had an off week last week. That's why you didn't see a video then. But back this week, fresh off 8 straight victories from the boys in black and blue. That's right. They won again this time, defeating New England on the road. New England 1, Charlotte 2. Close game, right? I mean, it didn't start out that way. I mean, just kind of jumping right into the recap. The boys came out on fire. I loved the way they were playing early. Gianni taking up some crazy offensive positions. They were moving it, looking very crisp, and they did get an early goal as well. Beautiful pass from Zaha, or cross, I should say, from Zaha over to Vargas. Vargas heads it back over to Bronico. Tap-in goal for Bronico. Beautiful goal. 1-0 Charlotte. It seemed like we were going to be in the clear for the whole game, the way it had started. However, not long after that, I think that was around the 11th or 12th minute, around the 21st, 22nd minute, Gianni goes down with an injury, and they bring in Williamson. And we wouldn't normally think that's like a terrible, substitution, but the way that Gianni had been playing in that game and the previous game, he has just been really rolling with the team. For whatever reason, when Williamson came in, it was like a 180 flip, right? It seemed like New England really took control of the game at that point. I mean, they not dominated, but next to dominated possession. They had twice as many shots. They did eventually get a goal as well to tie it at 1. Second half was very much, they being New England on the front foot, and Charlotte was just kind of withstanding the pressure. I think we were all probably just kind of hoping for a tie at that point, thinking, you know what, the record's probably over with, but if we can get out of here with the draw, we'll be fine, because they are really knocking on the door here. But what do you know? Kalina comes up with maybe the best save of the season. I've said that maybe 2 or 3 times in the last week or a couple of weeks, but really and truly phenomenal save that he got down on to make the block. Rolls it on out to, can't remember, but then they get it up to Abada. Abada goes down, gets a foul, very close to the box, and you know what happens then. It was a repeat of the goal from last week, just on the opposite side. Westy curls a ball into Toklamati, to Toklamati here, right? Got his new jersey, peep that. And, I mean, beautiful ball in, and of course Toklamati rises above everybody else, heads it in, game winner in the 88th minute, beautiful goal. Had the best celebration that we've seen so far on the season as well. I almost put Twerklamati on the back of this jersey. Probably should have in hindsight, but it's okay. It's still Toklamati. Beautiful goal. If we can get a clip of that in the show, Gabby, that'd be fantastic. Awesome goal celebration. However, MLS, different story, different day. I'll get on this in the news for the week. They were kind of party poopers on it. Different story, didn't matter. At the end of the day, it was a 2-1 victory for Charlotte. That is, again, now 8 straight. We're one victory away from tying the all-time MLS record for consecutive victories at 9, which is just insane. Now, that is in the post-shootout era. I think there was some before, but at least in the post-shootout era, this would be the most wins consecutively in MLS history. So hard to complain with the vibes right now in Charlotte, right? Gabby, I mean, what do you have to say? What do you think? Anything on the game?
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching last week's video with Brian and Amy, I think you referenced something in regards to, if only we could get our stuff together and make it into the top 4 by the end of the season. And
yeah,
it's so funny looking back, because, I mean, did Charlotte have their tiffs, and did they have a few mistakes in the game 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago now? But I mean, we've really improved since the last time we really spoke in regards to where Charlotte is as a team, and so definitely really proud to see where they've come. I mean,
Unbelievable.
we'll definitely touch on Torque Lamati later on, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think overall, great energy coming from the guys. Great energy coming from just the team as a whole, management. Very, very surprised to see where things are. But definitely excited to see kind of where things go this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, we got a big one coming up that we'll get into in a moment. But yeah, I mean, I just to piggyback off of that, yeah, I think grit and determination. Those are great words to describe Charlotte, especially over this last 8-game run. I mean, obviously, we've been kind of undermanned. We've had so many hamstring injuries to
Exactly.
important players like a Pep Biel, Toffolo, obviously getting hurt right when he gets added to the team, right? So a lot of things to deal with, and we're just grinding out 1-goal victory after 1 goal, and most of them 1-0. Matter of fact, I didn't write it down, but that the 1 goal New England scored, that was the only goal Charlotte conceded the entire month of August, right? So I mean, we far cry from what was it, May or July when we were, or June, I mean, rather, when we were giving up seemingly 2-3 goals every game. And when we were talking about those games in the struggle period, we never really questioned the grit or determination, right? It was always just like an individual mistake that kept happening, and we're like, you got to get rid of this. And they got rid of those individual mistakes, and they kept the faith, and look what's happened, right? They've just turned it completely on its head. I mean, yeah, we were sitting in 10th place wondering if we were going to make the playoffs. We're in 3rd now, right? So I ruined the thunder for later, but that's okay. But in any case, yeah, I mean, just wonderful game, wonderful 2 months of football from Charlotte FC. Cannot wait to see what happens this week and of course, moving forward. So, yeah, all good on the recap. Love the game. 8 straight. Like I said, I'm going to be counting in a couple weeks. Y'all going to be seeing my toes. I think I said that last week. I'm going to have my toes up here counting. So I'm sure you all are dying to see that. Definitely. I saw that face. But anyway, yeah, enough toe talk. Moving it on to the news for the week, right? Best. But anyway, moving, like I said, right into the news for the week this week. So as we just mentioned, Torque Lamati, aka Twerk Lamati. Twerk, baby. You want to twerk, baby. You want to twerk, baby. You want to. As it was known on Twitterverse, right? You just saw the video, or hopefully, we got that in there. Hilarious video. Obviously meant no harm to anybody. MLS went and posted it themselves because they found it humorous, but then they were also like, yeah, this is funny, but we're going to fine you. So yeah, Torque Lamati gets fined for the celebration. Anybody that cares, I'm going to start a GoFundMe to kind of crowdsource this. You can just Venmo me the money and I'll handle it. Go, send it where I need to. I'll put my Venmo handle up there and just see if we can get some money for Torque Lamati, right? That's what that'll be for. So, but all jokes aside, that was kind of lame of the MLS to go, not suspend them, but go fine them after, posting the video itself. It was funny. Everybody laughed. Why you have to go find the guy for that? Come on. But is what it is. In other news, moving on to the next kind of point here. So we did have some call-ups we were off this week, Charlotte and all of the MLS, because of what's called international duty. So there were some international games happening. Don't go look at what the U.S. did. Ugly. Not even going to get into it.
Ew! What an interesting artifact. They're probably circa 1988.
But on the U.S. team, not on the U.S. team, on Charlotte's team, we had 3 call-ups. So we had Tim Ream, who we're pretty used to getting called up at this point, but still always worth a congratulation. He is actually the captain of the U.S. team this window, if you will. Didn't go so well in the first game, but in any case, he got called up, so congrats, Tim Ream. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy as well. He got called up to the Canadian national team, so congrats, Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. And then our young phenom on the Crown Legacy, Mr. Nimfasa Berchamas, got called up to the U.S. youth national team. So he's still obviously young enough to be on that. He had to, I think Amy or Brian, I don't remember which, said it last week that he had, just come off a hat trick for the Crown Legacy team. Obviously, the national team took notice, and he was part of the U.S. Youth national team. So congrats to all 3 of those guys. Well-deserved. And another congrats is needed as well. So not a call-up to the national team, but a call-up to the first team for one and only Bey Coulibaly. So this is a player you guys probably remember. Actually, you probably don't, but I'll remind you now. So we signed Rodolfo Aloco a couple weeks ago and kind of stashed him into the legacy team. very similar to what we did with this player, Bey Coulibaly, right? He is a very highly touted young player, kind of made his way up the ranks, and like I said, he's been on the legacy now this entire season. The team saw enough promise in him that they have brought him up to the first team. Does that mean I think he'll start? Probably not. But do I think he'll get some minutes? Absolutely. We'll see how those go. And it's a midfielder too, right? So we've been kind of talking about in the transfer window how we feel like we missed out on a midfielder. Maybe this was the plan the whole time. Maybe they have so much confidence in Coulibaly as a midfielder that they feel like they can add those legs. Obviously they do, or they wouldn't have brought him up to the first team, right? So big congrats to him. Can't wait to see him on the field as well. Gabby, what do you got for the news?
I mean, so in some not so amazing news, we're kind of uncertain.
I gave you all the injuries, didn't I?
I know, right? So we're a little uncertain on Toffolo coming back from his hamstring injury. So we'll obviously find out Thursday. But as it sits right now, he likely won't play. Kind of on a better note, Pep Biel's back potentially this week, unofficial.
Fingers crossed.
We'll find out Thursday. So if he plays, I don't foresee it being too long.
He ain't playing 90 minutes, I doubt. I feel the same way. We'll see what, like you said, Dino says on Thursday.
For sure. My only kind of fear with that, and maybe this is me just being a pessimist, is that with him being out, like now adding him back in, like how is that going to change the team dynamic and how they've been playing? I don't think it really would, like, negatively.
When you're adding a player like that, it's just. You're right. I mean, they've been playing so well, defensively sound, and obviously he's more known for the offense, but he plays both sides of the ball.
Exactly.
Right?
He plays both sides great.
Yeah. I don't see it. It can only be a help, in my opinion. Right now, obviously, if he's playing 80%, maybe that's something else we'll talk about. But, I think we're all excited to see Pep Biel back because that's the only thing. Like I said, we've been winning all these 1-0 matches. Mm-hmm. I guarantee if he was on the field in some of those, they wouldn't have been 1-0. Yeah, 2, 3, 4 potentially, right?
Exactly.
So, very, very excited to see that.
And then, So, no, I'm super excited. Hopefully, fingers crossed and your toes crossed that he'll be back for the Miami game.
I can't cross my toes. Can you cross your toes?
I
was just trying. Like when you said it, it was like, I don't know how to do that. But anyway.
On a better note, Gianni's likely back for this game. So that's other great news. And then additional really great news is Suarez is out for this coming up game.
That is good for Charlotte.
It is very good for Charlotte. Not so good for Miami, but again, that doesn't matter.
Do we want to? I guess we can go ahead and talk about that match. Well, I got it later. We'll kind of touch more on why he's suspended here in a little bit. And maybe we talk about it then. What an ugly scene that was. But obviously Suarez being suspended for the match coming up, which we'll get into again, Miami here in a bit. That's, like I said, a good overall. If I had to guess based on those, injury news that you had there, my guess is that they probably want Gianni and Pep Biel to kind of split those minutes, right? Because they're both they're both literally coming off injury. I mean, Gianni, again, he came out of the game last week, but, Dino had said it was more precaution than actual injury. That he would be good to go in 2 weeks, which we're now there to the 2-week window. I think they just wanted to we've had so many hamstring injuries recently. They were like, we just want to be overly cautious and get him out. And because he has been playing so well since he's been in there and kind of doing that Pep role as well as one can. Nobody can be Pep, right? But he's definitely held his own in that role. And so I think they'll kind of maybe look to split those minutes. Maybe 60 minutes Gianni, 30 minutes Pep Biel, or vice versa. I don't know, but we'll see. And then, like you said, Suarez being suspended. Love to see that. Maybe. Low-key, I'm not sure. I'll kind of explain more of that in the preview, but we'll see how that happens. Right into our third segment here, around the league, as normal. So, starting out with the scores like we always do, right? So before we get into all the MLS scores, I did want to go ahead and quickly shout out Seattle. I guess now's a great time to talk about the Suarez suspension. So Seattle doesn't just win, they demolish Miami in the League's Cup final 3-0. obviously the news wasn't necessarily even about Seattle where it should have been. What a great accomplishment by them. By the way, I'm pretty sure they're the first. If they're not the first, I know they got to be one of 2 or 3 teams max. I'm pretty sure they are the only MLS side that has now won every major trophy. Again, going back to those, the Supporters Shield, the MLS Cup, the U.S. Open, and now the Leagues Cup. They've got all 4 of them. So congrats to Seattle on a phenomenal game plan, by the way. Their coach, I thought, put in a great plan. I watched that whole game. I mean, they were just dominating. It gave us the blueprint on how we need to play them. That's exactly how I got the preview set up later. But love the way they played. All shout outs to Seattle for what they did. Great team, and congrats there, well deserving. But what happened after that match was really what all the headlines got. So Messi and his boys, of course, weren't very thrilled with losing 3-0, but instead of just taking it to the locker room and, being done with it and moving on, his main guy, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Luis Suarez, who we've talked about, decided that he wanted to go put one of the, and we won't even call him antagonizing. He was only antagonizing on the field because he was dominating. They went and put him in a headlock, just trying to bully him, talking shit. And then, Seattle players kind of come to his defense. And then, of course, Suarez goes and spits on like an 80-year-old assistant. And, of course, that led to an all-out brawl, multiple suspensions within the Leagues Cup. Only one within the MLS, which is the one, with Suarez, who we just talked about. But ugly scene. Really no need for it at all. You got beat. Get the F off the field and be done with it, right? That's kind of my 2 cents there. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I did want to at least really extol, show out Seattle and boo Miami. It's terrible.
No, I mean, I don't have much to add to that. So I think you covered it.
Yeah, I was the same. Not much else to add. I was just curious if you had any thoughts. But yeah, it was just, just an ugly scene at what was an otherwise great game from Seattle, and so deserved. So not much else needs to be said.
Yeah, it's upset. Yeah, no, in general, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good thing for Charlotte. I never wish for this sort of violence to happen, but I mean, I think it was much deserved.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was just, it was just unnecessary, and why? Why?
Yeah.
But again, over with. Congrats, Seattle. Boo, Miami. That's kind of the main takeaway there. But moving into the actual MLS action that happened as well. So a lot of great results for Charlotte this week. Cincinnati, Philly, that was the big game, the 1-2 matchup. Philly was able to win that one 1-0. I didn't get to watch much of that one because it happened at the same time as the Charlotte game, of course. So I did kind of follow along a bit, but that did obviously boost Philly on up. So great job, Philly. Also, New York City FC, who, yes, they're behind us in the standings. They've kind of had this, they've been right behind us and they keep winning. So they've been keeping me nervous, but they lose to DC 2-1. So that kind of helped take a little pressure off of them. And then, Gabby, any other scores as well?
So we've got the Red Bull New York game against Columbus, tie 0-0. But this marks and kind of wraps up on Columbus's winless August.
Yeah, crazy, right? What a slide.
Which is so shocking to see because, again, thinking back through everything and how they things have progressed for them throughout this season. For majority of the season, I feel like they were a top 4 team.
Top 2 or 3, a lot of it,
yeah. All the way through up until here recently. I think, and this is not to talk shit, but after that second game against Charlotte, just kind of, I feel like started to go downhill.
That was the game, and they've pretty much been on the slide since. Like you said, I mean, winless in August, so hard to believe. But hey, Charlotte kind of did the same thing in May, right? So it's just to show I don't believe Columbus sucks all of a sudden, right? They are sliding, but we know that they have that quality, just as we knew Charlotte did all along. So who knows? Maybe just a slide.
Agreed.
Anything else?
And then Nashville, Atlanta. Atlanta takes the dub with just a single goal. And then also wanted to touch on LAFC 1, San Diego 2.
That's like your second team now, right? I mean, they keep winning.
They really do. They just can't stop winning. I just think it's such a cool story with them. I know I say it every week, but I think
they just keep it going.
First,
crazy.
First season in the MLS, inaugural season, and they're just dominating. I just think that's such a cool story, and I think this is something that they'll make documentaries about in years to come from now. I really
Perhaps.
do.
I mean, if they finish it off, we hope they don't. We hope that they have to face us and ultimately lose. But they could still, regardless, win the Supporters' Shield. I do believe they are now up. I guess if we look at the standings, we'll be able to see that. But obviously, it's kind of a battle between them and Philadelphia for who ends up ultimately with the most points. But I mean, yeah, you got to give your, hats off to them. I mean, what a season, first season being in first place in the West, maybe contending for the Supporters' Shield, certainly a contender to win the MLS Cup as well. So great job, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
And
then kind of staying with things going on in the West, kind of want to talk, do you want to jump into standings?
Yeah, right into it. Perfect.
Okay, so San Diego currently sits at 56 points, and they're 5 points ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah, for second.
And that's done deal. You know, they're in there.
They're gapping everybody right now.
I mean, and then another surprising thing over there, Galaxy's still in last. They're only 2 points from St. Louis. But one of the most shocking things is that they still have a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, last place team in the MLS has a Champions League spot. Obviously they randomly went off in the League's Cup and finished third in the League's Cup out of nowhere. And I'm kind of jealous, honestly. I mean, they have to win like no games in the season, but still get a spot, and that's a tournament I want Charlotte to be a part of for sure. If not, I mean, obviously, if we win the Cup this year, we will be a part of it, right? But that's a big one, for all of North America, in my opinion. So, yeah, crazy. Last place, yet in the Champions League now. So, way to go.
Again, just goes to show that I don't think there's necessarily terrible or bad teams in the MLS. I mean, look at the Galaxy. They're in the championship.
Exactly, and they won the championship last year, the Cup, as we've mentioned a few times. You are right on that, and I think that is the thing that the league doesn't get enough credit for. I'm glad you mentioned it. Is the depth of this league. So again, people can criticize the quality in the league if they want. I think it's a very valuable league and with very quality players. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, I'm sure, but still, all the teams can beat all the teams, and that cannot be said throughout the rest of the world, right? I mean, Premier League, sure, like Premier League, pretty much any of those teams are great, but you go to like La Liga in Spain, like, I mean, you got Real Madrid, you got Barcelona, you got Atletico Madrid, 3 great teams, and then everybody else might as well be in the MLS with us, right? I mean, and so I feel like the quality, or at least the depth of quality in the MLS is much higher than any other league out there. Again, save the Premier League, right? But good point there. I'm glad you brought that up because not a lot of people, talk about that side of the MLS. Every game is winnable. Every game is losable. And so you have to bring your A game every single week in this league to be able to contend. So very good point. And then,
I agree. I mean, just goes to show, for, again, going back to kind of things on the East with Columbus, starting.
Exactly.
At one point, they were second in the season. I mean, hell, at one point, we were first. And so it's just like.
You would never see that in La Liga or Bundesliga or any of those.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what makes MLS, and again, maybe we're biased, but I think that's what makes things so exciting, because whereas game 2 or whatever game we were in at the very beginning of the season, we were in first place, got all the way down to 10th, and now we're in third. So it's definitely been an exciting season, and I wouldn't say just for Charlotte, like it's been an exciting season. Everything has been ever changing and ever moving, I feel like, in the standings.
100%.
And just overall.
100%. We've seen lots of changes, and again, like I said, it's just every game matters and every game is tough, no matter who the opponent is. So, and to me, that makes for a great league.
Exactly.
Kind of not backtracked, but kind of went offside, but that's okay. That was a good conversation. Moving over to the East, though, because this is what we love the most. The most exciting news of the day, Charlotte, I think I already said it, so kind of spoiled it. Third place, baby. We're in third place right now, only 2 points behind Cincinnati for second as well. We keep winning, we might actually go and be first place. Who knows? I mean, I doubt it. They, obviously Philly's got about a 7, or not about. They have a 7-point lead on us, as you see there. Going to be tough to catch them with only 5 games left. But I mean, gosh, we win every game. It's going to be hard for them not to keep it in front of us, right? So we'll see how it goes. But awesome that we're sitting in third place now. I mean, what an accomplishment for this team. But obviously, all the teams, you see them right below us with them on the screen right now. I mean, Nashville, Orlando, Miami, all these teams right behind us. So, right, Miami's sitting down there in 6th place, but they have 4 games in hand. They've got 4 more games to play than everybody else. I don't know when the hell they're going to make them up, but they, that's a lot of games to make up, right? So there's still, teams that can pass us. Especially, I mean, we can't let off the gas. As we just mentioned, right? It's easy enough for us to fall right back down to 7th or 8th, just losing a couple of games. Just keep your foot on the gas. And we talked about Columbus already, but yeah, sitting in 7th, they may end up in the play-in. I mean, you look at the standings, right? They are not very far in front of 8th or 9th. Or even 10th for that matter. I don't think they would possibly fall that far, but at the same time, wouldn't that be a story if they were sitting up in 2nd, 3rd for most of the year and just, they can't win right now. So it is what it is. So we'll see how that actually finishes out here soon.
And now it's your favorite time, the preview. Mark, take it away.
Boy, what a great segue that was from Gabby. Yes, it is your favorite time of the week, our favorite time, the segment that started it all. It is the match day preview. I don't know which match day we're on right now, somewhere around 30, but kind of lost track there. But listen, guys, I probably say it every week. This is the biggest game we've played yet this year. This is the most exciting game we've had all year. I cannot wait for this game. Charlotte, 3rd place, 50 points, going up against Miami, 6th place, 46 points. We know who Miami has, right? We know what that name means within the league, within the world, really, right? I mean, probably the most recognizable name in any sport, Lionel Messi, right? And so obviously that gets the juices flowing just from that. But with everything that's transpired with Miami over the last, just a year, I mean, they've quickly become the villain of the league. And that's the team that we get to go up against to try to set this record, right? They say if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Well, hey, we got, at least from a talent standpoint, the best team on the field that we are going to face all season. And that's going to be the test that we have to try to, set this record at the bank on Saturday. So huge game. Just for, if you can think way back to week 3, we did lose the reverse fixture at Miami to them 1-0. Matter of fact, we lost 1-0 and we were a man up. They had a red card fairly early in that game. Definitely kind of hurt the flow of that game. It was just kind of a blah. They were kind of sitting back. They scored 15 seconds into the second half with their kickoff, and that was the only goal. Really kind of bummy game. That was without Messi as well, by the way. He didn't play that game, so lost that one, but that was so long ago. We've already mentioned the Suarez being suspended for this game. Now, obviously, Suarez is a very talented player, great player, and would have helped them in this match. But I am also kind of the opinion, I'm not saying that we're being Charlotte better off with him not playing, but I think it's a little bit more of a wash because I assume they'll put in Allende up there, who's a much faster player than Suarez, especially at this point in his career. So I think that speed may actually be a little bit hurtful for us. Obviously, he doesn't have this overall skill that a Suarez does, right? But I'm low-key not as excited about Suarez not playing, I guess is what I'm saying. I wanted him to at least be out there so we could boo him. But in any case, whatever, he won't be there. I assume Messi and the rest of his Argentine brothers are going to be out there playing. The Rodrigo de Pauls of the world, the Jordi Albas of the world, Sergio Busquets. I guess those last two are actually Spanish, but who do I know? Point being, they should have their team out there minus Suarez. They should be absolutely wanting to win this game as bad as we do. Again, they're behind us in the standings, and we are getting the crunch time of the season. So this should be a heavyweight matchup of two teams bringing their absolute best, which is all you can really ask for. Again, this will be the most talented team Charlotte plays all year. individually. And I do mean individually, right? They are a bunch of individually very talented players. And don't get me wrong, when they get on the field and play together, they can bring that individual talent and make magic, right? We see it every week with Messi and crew. It is absolutely, it's going to scare you, right? The amount of talent that they have out there. They're going to want to dominate the possession, right? And they probably will to a certain degree, right? I don't expect Charlotte to win the possession battle in this game. But what Charlotte has to make this game to win is make it about the team, right? We know Miami. They're selfish. We just talked about how ugly they are as a kind of really organization with what happened last week. And like I said, it really bleeds into the way that they play. They are a very individual, stylistic team. But they have a very leaky defense, right? They give up goals because they are so, I'm trying to make this happen or I'm trying to make that happen, and then they leave a gap at the back, right? So I would call them very undisciplined. Even though they are talent, they are very undisciplined, and something that Charlotte can take advantage of. This has to be about the team for Charlotte, guys, right? We're not going to go player. I mean, we have Pep Biel, we have Wilfried Zaha, we have very talented players on the field. Are they Messi? Are they Busquets? Maybe not, from an overall perspective. But when you put all 11 out there together and they're playing, like I said, I even put in here the most important thing. They can't just sit back and let Miami hold the ball and control the ball. You got to go take it from them. You got to go press them. You got to go foul them. I don't care. Foul them hard, right? I mean, make them know that you are on the field. You're there to play just as they are. But do it as a team, right? You can't just have at one point Pep Biel going to press this guy and the rest of the team doesn't follow, right? This has got to be all about the team at the same time, right? They've got to be on their cues. They got to know when to press, right? They can't just do it willy-nilly all the time, but they do, like I said, it's got to be a big function of this game. They've got to get under the skin of Miami. We know what happens when teams get under the skin. That's exactly what Seattle did, right? They just kept pressing them. Messi and crew were getting upset, getting flustered, and then they couldn't stop them, right? And so that is the absolute game plan. We have the players just as Seattle did, right? We're no different than them from a talent perspective. And so we can do that same game plan, in my opinion, and beat them. But it's got to take the team doing it together, right? It can't just be one individual here, one individual there. That's the most important piece, is team beats I, right, at the end of the day. And that's what we hope happens on Saturday to go set that freaking record, right? So I do think there's going to be goals in this game, regardless, right? Charlotte only gave up one all of August. I expect us to probably give up a couple in this one, unfortunately. Even if we do, right, those are the biggest moments where we need to be our team, right? Because Miami can just do things that other teams can't, right? It is going to mesmerize you, right? The way that they can move the ball and pass it so quickly sometimes, and they're going to get one or two of those rhythms, and they're going to score a goal probably. It's true. Can't get down, can't get out. Like I said, they are just as likely to give up a goal on the other side as they are to get one on our end. As long as we're staying sound defensively, not just taking it, right, trying to go press it, I think we win this game, right? That is my prediction. There's going to be goals, but I've got it finishing Charlotte 3, Miami 2. So I think that's going to be the final. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game both ways. But again, that press is really what's going to set us apart as a team, and that's how we get the win. I kind of went chalk on the goal scorers, Gabby. I didn't, but I think it's going to be one of those games where it is those guys, because it's going to be, in my opinion, the breakaway type goals. So of course I got Twerk Lamati, Hope Lamati scoring one, and then I've got Zaha on the left, and I got Vargas on the right scoring. I think the holy trinity of the front line for us, if you will be the ones to score in this game, and ultimately take 3 more points back and an MLS record back home. I guess we're already at home, but you know what I meant. Gabby, what do you think? Did that fire you up at all?
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding. No, it definitely did. I'm excited. I really am. And then also, I mean, we've got some exclusive insight tomorrow at the player signing too. So I mean, like, this is just a week of full Charlotte FC type stuff. So
absolutely,
I'm super excited. Not only for the game, I think the guys are gonna do. I hope the guys do well. I do. I don't want to say I think we are. I know we're gonna do great. But I think it's gonna be a hard game for us. I really do, and I completely agree with you in everything in regards to Miami plays a very individual game. I mean, they have such individually talented players, but because of that, I think that could also for them to some extent be like a downfall as well, because they're not so focused on, you know, connecting as a team on the field. And that's not to say that they don't have those big moments, right? But I would say that Charlotte has recently, over the past few months, really learned how to connect, and they've really gotten their things together with the chemistry that, you know, the players have on the field, which I think is going to be a huge advantage for us. In terms of prediction, I think I'm going to go 3-2 Charlotte as well. I think it's going to be, I say high scoring. I mean, I think we're going to get some goals in there, not just from us, but from Miami too. In terms of goal scorers, I'm going to go Toklamati and Zaha.
Okay.
But if
you're getting away from your favorite.
If Pep is in there now,
That's
I'm gonna
great
go
choice.
Pep. Okay.
I was very close to putting Pep, but I don't know how many
yeah.
minutes he'll end up playing, so that was the only reason I didn't. But yeah, no, obviously great pick. If he's there, he's got a very good chance. But
I mean, let's say by the time this video gets out and Dean Smith on Thursday says that he's not going to be playing on Saturday, then I would have to agree with the Vargas prediction. But because of that, the uncertainty of Pep, and because we've been told that he should be ready by this game, I'm going to have to go with Pep. And I think it would just be kind of fulfill the moment to have Pep score.
Wouldn't that be sweet if he, maybe a 2-2 ball game in the 75th minute, and then enters Pep BL, and then he just scores that game winner? How electric that would be.
That would just be literally insane.
Literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. So very excited. No, obviously a great prediction. I mean, you followed me almost to a T, so of course it's a great prediction. Just kidding. But no, it's, listen, there's going to be goals. I feel very confident on both sides of that, but it's important, like I said, just for the team and really the fans too. I guess speaking to the fans, right, if and when Miami does score, right, we cannot jump off of the proverbial bandwagon of Charlotte, right? Just encourage them. Listen, it may happen, but I fully think that we are just as and more capable of scoring on the other end in a game like this, with the way that they play defense, or lack playing defense, really is what I should say. So it should be a very exciting up and down game. I know that one way or another. It is this Saturday. It's 7:30. It's at the bank. You all should be there. What a great time, right? I mean, going for the record and everything. Just, can't wait. Oh, and you get an inflatable crown, too. I don't know if you saw that.
We got to throw that in there.
What the heck? You get a crown for coming to the game? I don't know how many they're giving out, but probably have to get there early. But anyway, I think that's about it. Great video as always.
Does that put a bow on it?
Yep.
Does that put a bow on it?
I knew you were going to say that, and yes, that does put a bow on it, Gabby. Puts a bow on the nice show here, or a crown, I guess we could say, for this one. But great job, and cannot wait till Saturday. We'll see you all at the bank. Until then, for the crown.